Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to some of the travails and trepidations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this particular video story is about a place that's very close to my heart, Chicago, Illinois, again, and the level of gun violence that takes place every holiday weekend, which is supposed to be a time of celebration and love, and it turns into disaster, chaos, disruption, and death. 33 shot, 7 fatally in Easter weekend gun violence across the city, Chicago police say. It has been a violent weekend in Chicago as at least 33 people have been shot, 7 fatally in gun violence across the city, police said. 21 of the shootings happened between 8 p.m. on that Saturday and 6 a.m. on that Sunday morning of the Easter Day weekend. Remember, this is supposed to be a time of celebration and family. Pay attention to each one of these storylines. Chicago is being decimated with crime, gun violence, murders and killings, and the migrant crisis each and every day. Chicago police responded to several shootings over the Easter weekend, with a large amount of shootings happening on the south and west sides of the city. On that Friday, a 29-year-old man shot and killed while standing in a parking lot at the 800 block of 87th Street, Chicago police said. Police say the shots came from a silver sedan in the Grisham neighborhood. CPD, Chicago Police Department, Area 2 detectives are investigating. On Saturday, a man was shot while sitting in a home on the city's south side. The shooting happened at 12:20 p.m. lunchtime in the 8200 block of South Elizabeth Street. The 41-year-old man was shot multiple times by someone he knew, the police said. He was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital in grave condition, where he later died. The offender fled the scene and is not in custody. CPD's Area 2 detectives are investigating that homicide also. Hours later, a man was shot 9 times while pumping gas on the west side. Police said the shooting happened in the Holman Square neighborhood's 3700 block of West Roosevelt Road just before 11:20 p.m. Keep going. A 33-year-old man was pumping gas there when a white Infiniti pulled up, police said. 3 people got out and fired gunshots and rifle shots at the man before fleeing the scene. Police said the victim shot 9 times in his body, then drove himself to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he is in critical condition. A 31-year-old woman who was in the man's vehicle was shot in her shoulder, police said. She is also in critical condition at Mount Sinai Hospital. On Easter Sunday, 5 female victims were shot. 5. 1 fatally on the city's west side of Chicago. The shootings happened around 1 a.m. at the 5300 block of West Madison Street near Lockwood Avenue in the South Austin neighborhood. A group of people were inside a business when an unknown person began shooting towards the group and then fled the scene. A 19-year-old woman was shot in the head and died on the scene. The other 4 victims that were shot, you won't believe this, 16 years old, 17, 19, and 20 years old. All were sent to local hospitals in good condition. No one is in custody. CPD's Area 4 detectives are investigating. Later on Sunday, in the same Austin neighborhood, 4 more people were shot, police said. The shootings happened around 2:50 p.m., middle of the afternoon on Easter, in the 400 block of North Laverne Avenue, Chicago police said. 4 male victims were on the sidewalk in the Austin neighborhood when they were shot at by 2 unknown offenders. One victim, whose age was unknown, was shot in the head. He was transported to Mount Sinai Hospital in critical condition. A 25-year-old victim was grazed in the thigh, a 21-year-old victim was shot in the groin, and another 25-year-old victim was shot in the ankle. The three victims were able to take themselves to West Suburban Hospital, police said. Further details about the shootings were not immediately available. Early on Sunday morning, 3 people were shot inside a vehicle on Chicago's South Side. Police said the shooting happened in the Bronzeville neighborhood's 0100 block of East 47th Street at about 4 a.m. What in the world good could happen at 4 a.m. and you're out and about, hanging out? The only thing you should be doing at 4 a.m. is getting ready to go to work to be there by 6 a.m. Nothing positive happens between midnight and 5 a.m. in the morning in the streets. A 23-year-old woman and 2 men, 18 and 30 years old, were inside a vehicle, stopped at a red light, police said. That's when another vehicle pulled up and someone inside opened fire. Police said the woman got shot in her eye and the 18-year-old man shot in his shoulder were both transported to St. Bernard Hospital. The 30-year-old man shot in his back was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center. All 3 victims were in serious condition, the police said. No one is in custody, and Area 1 detectives are investigating. Police said no one has been arrested in any of the weekend shootings as they continue to investigate. What an incredible story. As I said earlier, holiday gatherings are supposed to be about getting together, enjoying family and friends, eating good food, and if you're Christian, celebrating the life of Christ. And in many of our major metropolitan cities, it is all about creating chaos and death, gun violence, assaults. What in the world is happening to Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, California, Oakland, San Francisco, LA? And you're seeing that all of this stuff, it doesn't make a difference if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. These assaults and this gun violence and these shootings are happening in broad daylight like it's a movie. There is no lexicon in life now or in the criminal world where they do it in the realm of darkness. These people, the folks out here nowadays, are shooting people in broad daylight, no matter if there's witnesses, surveillance cameras, or what. Nobody is afraid to get arrested, go to jail. There is not an infinite, minute spicule of difference between life and death for many folks out here today. And we need to talk about this more and more. Public safety has become a real issue. What do you think all of these shootings and crime sprees and gun violence and murders that are taking place in Chicago, what is that doing for the tourism? What is that doing for people wanting to vacation or corporate America companies wanting to do their corporate events there? Chicago is being decimated, not only with the migrant crisis in the sanctuary city, but the gang violence. Many brick and mortar retail stores are leaving downtown Chicago. Downtown Chicago has a 50% vacancy rate right now, and Chicago is understaffed in their police force. They need about 1,000 police officers. Police officers are leaving, retiring early, or changing their entire profession. There is a brewing and a boiling point that is taking place, and civil unrest that is taking place in places like Chicago that is unheard of. I've never seen anything like it. And what do you think is doing to the medical paradigm? To be a nurse, an ER nurse, an ER doctor, the staffing, the emergency rooms, all of that is being burdened by this tremendous amount of violence. And what do you think is doing to the medical staff, the PTSD they're receiving by seeing young victims and seeing all these people that are hemorrhaging and dying from this senseless gun violence and this inhumane lifestyle that we are living in today's society? It is the children of the corn. You're going to have medical people leaving their profession due to stress and anxiety and what they're seeing. Tell me what you think about this in Chicago.